Logan Paul's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. From a social media sensation to a boxing contender, WWE star, and co-founder of Prime Energy, his trajectory seemed destined for lasting fame and financial success. But over recent years, what began as a meteoric rise spiraled into scandal after scandal, leaving a trail of legal battles, shattered public trust, and a failing business. Prime Energy, a promising start. When Prime Energy first launched, it appeared to be the next big thing in the crowded sports drink market. Marketed as a healthier alternative to Gatorade, Powerade, and Body Armor, Prime boasted flashy branding, bold flavors, and a youthful image driven by its celebrity founders, Logan Paul and KSI. The initial hype was overwhelming. Consumers rushed to try the brightly colored drinks, and social media buzz created an underground market in some schools where kids resold bottles for profit. The combination of aggressive marketing, influencer power, and a well-executed social media strategy made it feel like Prime was unstoppable. Logan Paul, motivated by personal ambition, saw Prime as the fastest way to reach billionaire status. He publicly declared that his ultimate goal was to build a legacy brand that would dominate the hydration beverage industry. At its peak, Prime was viewed as a disruptive force, challenging industry giants and promising to redefine how people approached hydration. Cracks in the foundation. However, beneath the surface of this ambitious venture, serious problems were brewing. Prime's formula was far from the scientifically optimized electrolyte mix one would expect from a performance drink. Instead, it was essentially a potassium drink with added flavoring, designed more for casual sipping than serious hydration. Health professionals criticized the misleading claims, warning parents that Prime was not appropriate for children or athletes relying on legitimate electrolyte balance. The lack of clear positioning in the market was another critical misstep. Was Prime an athletic performance drink, a trendy youth beverage, or a general-purpose hydration option? The messaging never landed consistently, leaving consumers confused. The marketing seemed overly reliant on celebrity influence rather than genuine product innovation. As the product became more widely available, its novelty wore off, and early adopters began to lose interest. Oversaturation and market fatigue. Over time, Prime overexpanded, flooding the market with countless flavors and product variations. This not only diluted its brand, but also led to significant consumer fatigue. Data showed a sharp decline in both new and repeat customers. Sales in the UK plummeted by over 70% from 2023 to 2024, while in the US, the first half of 2024 alone saw a 50% drop in sales compared to the previous year. Rather than holding its place on store shelves, Prime increasingly appeared in clearance sections, damaging the perceived value of the brand. Moreover, the association with Logan Paul, once an asset, became a liability. His public persona began to unravel under mounting legal scrutiny and scandals. Instead of inspiring trust, his involvement began to raise eyebrows among investors and consumers alike. Legal troubles and investigations. Prime's challenges weren't limited to poor sales and bad marketing. The company faced several lawsuits, including a significant $67 million legal battle with Ray Fresco Bottling Company. This lawsuit revolved around allegations that Prime backed out of a manufacturing agreement due to fears of being unable to fulfill sales quotas. This move not only strained business relationships, but also hinted at internal financial instability. Further complicating matters, Prime Energy became subject to increased government scrutiny. US federal authorities officially summoned Logan Paul for investigation amid accusations of financial fraud, false advertising, and public health endangerment. Critics argued that Prime's marketing strategy falsely positioned it as a health-oriented product while containing questionable ingredients and unhealthy sweeteners. The CryptoZoo debacle. Trust betrayed. Logan Paul's troubles extended beyond beverages. In the wave of cryptomania during 2021, he launched CryptoZoo, a blockchain-based project promising investors a revolutionary game where players could hatch NFT eggs, breed hybrid animals, and profit from trading them. Fueled by relentless promotion on Logan's popular Impulsive podcast, millions of dollars poured in from loyal fans and small investors. At first, the project seemed to hold potential, but it quickly unraveled into chaos. Eggs failed to hatch, trading features never launched, and critical game mechanics were incomplete or plagiarized. Investors lost tens of thousands of dollars, some even going bankrupt. Leaked documents later revealed that the code had been stolen from another project. Developers were unpaid, and many team members had prior fraud allegations. Instead of taking accountability, Logan Paul launched a public relations offensive. He dismissed CryptoZoo critics, most notably YouTuber CoffeeZilla, accusing them of spreading misinformation for personal gain. He announced plans to sue for defamation, yet leaked private messages revealed his true intent: to silence and make life harder for his critics. This defensive stance turned public opinion from disappointed to deeply cynical. The media backlash and public sentiment CoffeeZilla's in-depth investigations culminated in a 3-part series exposing Logan Paul's involvement in the CryptoZoo scam. The detailed evidence painted a bleak picture of exploitation of both fans and the trust placed in Logan Paul as a public figure. Rather than face the fallout honestly, Logan doubled down on attacks, further fueling public disillusionment. The public sentiment shifted dramatically. What was once admiration for Logan's comeback story now became widespread skepticism. The idea of the celebrity entrepreneur turned into a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition. Fans who once followed Logan for entertainment and motivation now saw him as emblematic of corporate greed and personal irresponsibility. The industry's reaction experts, investors, and competitors viewed Prime's downfall as a textbook case of overreach. Unlike body armor, which experienced steady growth over several years before Coca-Cola acquired a majority stake, Prime attempted to scale too quickly without building a solid product foundation. Where body armor leveraged Coca-Cola's bottling network and distribution channels, Prime struggled to secure reliable manufacturing contracts, ending up embroiled in costly litigation. Moreover, the competitive landscape didn't favor a brand like Prime in its current state. Established brands such as Gatorade and Powerade remained dominant due to decades of brand equity, extensive R&D, and well-established partnerships. Prime's bold claims of being healthier, tastier, and more innovative fell flat against the data-backed superiority of established formulas. Where does Prime go from here? At this point, the outlook for Prime Energy is bleak. With shrinking market share, plummeting revenue, public mistrust, and multiple legal battles looming, any hopes of a high-profile acquisition seemed far-fetched. Representatives from Prime continue to insist that the drop in sales is a natural market correction following the initial hype bubble, but the mounting lawsuits suggest internal mismanagement and over-ambition. Unless Prime can pivot by rebranding itself, developing an authentic science-backed formula, and distancing from the problematic celebrity associations, it will likely remain a cautionary tale. Simply slapping a celebrity face on a product is no longer enough to sustain long-term success. Lessons for the industry and consumers. Logan Paul and Prime Energy's downfall underscores an important lesson. The consumer market is no longer blind to marketing gimmicks. Authenticity, transparency, and real value have become essential. Consumers now demand clear information about what they are drinking, how it impacts their health, and why it stands out from the competition. For celebrities considering entering the business world, Logan Paul's story serves as a stark warning. Building a sustainable brand requires more than clout and flashy campaigns. It demands product integrity, responsible messaging, and accountability. The public isn't just buying the product, they are investing in the credibility of its makers. Logan Paul and the fallout from CryptoZoo. The CryptoZoo debacle was a turning point for Logan Paul, revealing cracks in the public image he had painstakingly rebuilt. While he had positioned himself as a figure of redemption after earlier controversies, the blockchain project exposed a troubling pattern: the exploitation of trust for personal gain. Investors poured millions into a project that promised hatching NFT eggs and trading rare hybrids, only to see the features fail and their money vanish. Leaked messages and reports indicated mismanagement and potential fraud, leaving thousands financially and emotionally devastated. Logan's defensive response, blaming partners and threatening critics, further eroded trust. The rise of Prime Hydration. In an effort to salvage his reputation, Logan launched Prime Hydration alongside KSI in 2022. Marketed as a healthy hydration drink suitable for young people and athletes, Prime initially appeared to be a lifeline. Social media campaigns, TikTok promotions, and high-profile endorsements positioned it as the next big beverage innovation. Parents and fans were convinced of its safety and health benefits, reinforcing Logan's image as a capable entrepreneur and influencer. At first glance, Prime seemed to signal redemption, both personally and professionally, unraveling trust with Prime Energy. However, Prime Energy, the caffeinated variant, quickly revealed the vulnerabilities in this narrative. Containing 200 milligrams of caffeine per can, it exceeded safe limits for children while mirroring the packaging of the non-caffeinated Prime Hydration. Reports of adverse reactions in children, including rapid heart rates, insomnia, and trembling, created widespread alarm. Investigations uncovered toxic chemicals and production inconsistencies, prompting school bans in the UK, US, and Australia. The drink, originally promoted as safe and healthy, became a source of fear and public outrage. Public and legal backlash. The public's disappointment intensified as Logan's response failed to demonstrate accountability. A high-profile PR campaign, including a factory tour video, sought to assure consumers of Prime's safety, yet critics saw it as performative. Logan deflected attention by attacking competitors and highlighting minor flaws in rival products, a tactic that amplified skepticism. Lawsuits followed, including a $67 million claim from Refresco Bottling Company over alleged contract breaches, and a dispute with Lionel Messi's MOS Plus brand over marketing similarities. Prime's collapse was not just financial, it was reputational, exposing patterns of dodging responsibility and manipulating public perception. The broader implications? Logan Paul's trajectory demonstrates a broader lesson about celebrity influence and public trust. Fame in one arena, be it social media, wrestling, or boxing, does not automatically confer expertise in business, nutrition, or blockchain technology. The public often conflates visibility with credibility, a gap that can be exploited by ambitious figures. Social media accelerates this phenomenon, creating hype cycles that obscure scrutiny until failures become unavoidable. CryptoZoo and Prime Energy are illustrative not only of business missteps, but of the risks inherent when admiration and blind trust intersect with financial and health-related ventures. Reflection on collective responsibility. Ultimately, the fallout from CryptoZoo and Prime Energy is a cautionary tale about collective responsibility in fandoms and consumer culture. Admiring public figures is natural, but assuming their expertise extends beyond their original field can have real consequences. Logan Paul's story underscores the importance of critical evaluation, transparency, and accountability in any venture. Consumers must balance enthusiasm with discernment, and influencers must recognize the weight of trust placed in their hands. In a society enamored with celebrity, these episodes remind us that reputation is fragile, trust is earned, and ethical responsibility cannot be delegated to image alone. Cost of blind trust. In today's digital era, the line between entertainment and commerce is thinner than ever. Sensational content spreads faster than facts, and warnings are often ignored. Urgency is manufactured in every post, every buy now or miss out message, leaving consumers little time to pause and consider. Fans and followers are pushed into rapid decisions, creating a loop of hype, investment, disappointment, and repetition. Logan Paul's story with Prime Energy and CryptoZoo illustrates this perfectly. Parents believed they were buying a safe product for their children, unaware that Prime Energy contained twice the caffeine of a Red Bull. Some children trembled, their hearts racing from a single can. The cost of blind trust in celebrity-driven products is not just financial, it's health, safety, and well-being. Influence beyond entertainment. Once a name enters commerce, every post, every endorsement carries tangible weight. What used to be entertainment now directly impacts millions of lives and moves enormous sums of money. When celebrities use their fame to sell products without transparency, consequences are inevitable. Logan Paul, once celebrated for his comeback from past controversies, leveraged his influence to launch Prime Hydration and other ventures. While initially appearing to rebuild his reputation, his approach blurred ethical lines. Parents and young consumers assumed safety and credibility where none was guaranteed, and the effects were severe. The lesson is clear. Influence carries responsibility. The illusion of success. Prime Hydration was launched with immense fanfare, marketed as a healthy alternative to traditional sports drinks, ideal for Gen Z and young athletes. Logan and KSI used social media virality, stadium advertisements, and high-profile endorsements to create the impression of an instant billion-dollar brand. Followers were convinced of its health benefits and safety, and initial sales seemed to confirm the promise. But as soon as the product reached broader distribution, cracks emerged. Prime Energy, the caffeinated version, proved hazardous to children. Toxicology reports, chemical concerns, and unsafe caffeine levels made headlines, while schools in multiple countries banned the drink. The initial image of success was revealed as a carefully curated illusion. When marketing overpowers science. The Prime saga exposes a broader problem with celebrity-backed consumer goods. Marketing often outruns science. Claims about hydration and health were not substantiated by independent research, yet were amplified by Logan's online reach. Parents trusted a familiar face over scientific scrutiny, a mistake that had real-world consequences. Social media hype magnified every step, reinforcing perception over evidence. Competing brands were criticized publicly, and minor product differences were exaggerated to redirect attention. Instead of accountability, Logan used PR campaigns to protect the brand and his reputation, further straining the trust of his audience. Legal and financial fallout. The financial consequences of these decisions have been significant. Logan Paul and his business partners face lawsuits, including a $67 million claim from Ray Fresco Bottling Company for alleged contract breaches and disputes with other beverage companies over marketing practices. Sales of Prime Hydration and Prime Energy have plummeted, over 70% in the UK and 50% in the US. Previously, high-demand products now sit in clearance sections, a stark contrast to the sold-out launch events of the past. The combination of legal pressure, falling revenue, and public scrutiny paints a grim picture of how a product fueled by hype can collapse when oversight, transparency, and safety are ignored. CryptoZoo, a precedent in trust. Before Prime, Logan Paul's involvement with CryptoZoo set the stage for public skepticism. Investors poured millions into a blockchain-based game that promised tangible returns and unique experiences. Instead, the project failed to deliver, leaving many in financial ruin. Logan's defensive responses, including blaming partners and threatening critics, exacerbated public anger. The eventual refund program covered only a fraction of losses and required legal agreements, leaving victims feeling exploited rather than compensated. CryptoZoo's failure highlights the dangers of leveraging fan trust without accountability, a cautionary tale repeated with Prime. Public perception and accountability. What made the fallout so severe is the erosion of trust. Logan's initial comeback story positioned him as someone capable of redemption, someone who had learned from past mistakes. But repeated patterns of evasiveness, manipulation, and partial disclosure undermined that narrative. Audiences were not just disappointed, they felt betrayed. Transparency and accountability were sacrificed in favor of image management and public relations, and the consequences were both reputational and tangible. This demonstrates that in the age of social media, credibility is fragile, and public goodwill can vanish quickly when expectations are unmet. The ethics of celebrity commerce. Logan Paul's story raises a broader ethical question. What responsibility do celebrities have when selling products or endorsing ventures, especially to young or impressionable audiences? Fame does not equal expertise. A successful YouTube channel, boxing match, or podcast does not automatically confer knowledge about nutrition, blockchain, or product safety. Yet, consumers often conflate visibility with credibility. The combination of trust, authority, and reach can be exploited, intentionally or not, with serious consequences. This is particularly critical for products aimed at youth, where health risks are tangible. Lessons for consumers. The Prime and CryptoZoo cases illustrate a simple but crucial principle. Trust must be earned, and it must be tested. Audiences should critically evaluate products, investments, and endorsements, even when promoted by a familiar face. Popularity and fame are not substitutes for transparency or evidence-based practices. Regulators, platforms, and institutions also bear responsibility to ensure that products marketed to vulnerable populations meet rigorous safety standards. Consumers and regulators alike must move at a pace that allows scrutiny and informed decisions rather than being swept away by hype. The broader cultural implication. Ultimately, Logan Paul's rise and fall is emblematic of a larger societal trend. The digital age accelerates the cycle of hype, investment, and disappointment. Followers are drawn into narratives crafted for engagement, where appearances often outweigh substance. The dangers are real: financial loss, health risks, and eroded trust. Logan's trajectory underscores that accountability cannot be outsourced to PR campaigns or legal maneuvers. Long-term credibility depends on honesty, transparency, and genuine concern for those impacted by decisions. Moving forward. For creators, entrepreneurs, and consumers, the lessons are clear. Celebrities wield influence, and that influence has consequences. Trust is a powerful currency, but one that is easily squandered. Fans and investors must balance enthusiasm with caution, and public figures must recognize the ethical weight of their platforms. Logan Paul's story is a cautionary tale. When influence is misused, even the most charismatic persona cannot protect against financial collapse, reputational damage, and the moral cost of betraying trust. Vigilance, scrutiny, and accountability remain essential in a world where entertainment and commerce are inseparably intertwined. Conclusion. Logan Paul's story, from CryptoZoo to Prime, illustrates the fragile nature of trust in the age of celebrity influence. Fame can open doors, but it cannot substitute for transparency, responsibility, or accountability. When charisma and marketing overshadow ethics, real people, fans, investors, and even children bear the consequences. The rise and fall of these ventures highlight a broader lesson. Trust must be earned, scrutinized, and never taken for granted. In an era where digital influence can shape markets and behavior, both creators and consumers carry a shared responsibility to prioritize honesty, safety, and integrity above hype and spectacle.